Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for attending today's closing bell ceremony with Nasdaq at our market site right here in Times Square. My name is Una Choi, and I serve as Nasdaq's Global Head of Regulatory Operations. I am privileged to be joined today by the Council of Institutional Investors Executive Director Robert McCormick, along with the CII staff, board, and members. The Council of Institutional Investors is a nonprofit, nonpartisan association of U.S. public, corporate, and union employee benefit funds, other employee benefit plans, state and local entities charged with investing public assets, and foundations and endowments with combined assets under management of approximately $5 trillion. CII is a leading voice on corporate governance and shareholder rights issues and a strong advocate for sensible financial regulations that foster fair, vibrant capital markets. At its core, the Council is dedicated to educating members about practices for corporate governance and encouraging engagement on the most pressing governance issues. You and your members represent and seek to protect America's Main Street investors. Nasdaq, through our listing standards, also seek to protect investors by requiring high corporate governance standards. And over the years, we have greatly benefited from our engagement with the Council and your leadership about those standards. Both current and past members of the CII staff leadership serve on the Nasdaq Listing Hearings Panel, which is an independent body authorized by the Nasdaq Exchange's board to make decisions about whether companies should be permitted additional time to regain compliance with the listing requirements. In addition, for almost 20 years, we have been privileged to have members of the CII staff leadership and the CII board serve on Nasdaq Listing and Hearings Review Council, which makes recommendations about changes to the Nasdaq listing rules. The important investor perspective that these experts, your leadership, bring in is invaluable to Nasdaq. While we don't always agree on every issue, we do share a common desire to protect investors and strengthen the capital markets. The ability to hear the perspective of your membership and to engage in a meaningful dialogue about these issues has helped shape our rules. CII is celebrating 40 years, 4 decades of hard-working and improving corporate governance. I think all our distinguished guests will agree that this accomplishment deserves a very large round of applause. As CII goes forward into their next decade of committed service to their members, all of us here at Nasdaq look forward to continuing to work with you. I am very grateful to be here celebrating CII's milestone, as well as your contributions to Nasdaq itself. With that, I will now pass it over to CII's Executive Director, Robert McCormick.
Thank you, Nasdaq, for the invitation to ring the closing bell and for hosting us. We're absolutely thrilled to be here and recognize the privilege and responsibility we have of representing over 300 of our members and their millions of beneficiaries with combined assets of nearly $65 trillion. CII members include most of the largest pension plans in the country, the biggest global investment managers, as well as the pension plans of many unions and public corporations, many of which are, of course, Nasdaq listed. Founded in 1985 by leaders of 21 U.S. pension and labor funds, CII began with a single goal: to protect the retirement savings of millions of workers and their families. To that end, CII has 3 main priorities. First, to educate our members and the public about best corporate governance practices and provide opportunities for members to interact with peers, investment executives, and policymakers. Second, we advocate on behalf of our members with companies, legislators, regulators, and other key market participants, having built a reputation as the go-to source for honesty, leadership, thoughtful analysis, and creative consensus building. Finally, CII promotes engagement with and among key market participants across the investor spectrum, including public pension systems, corporate retirement plans, foundations, endowments, labor union funds, asset managers, exchanges, credit rating agencies, legislators and regulators, and other service providers. This year, as we proudly celebrate 40 years of CII, we continue to focus on driving long-term value for pension funds, institutional asset owners, and the beneficiaries, millions of American workers. We would not have achieved this tremendous milestone without the amazing CII staff and dedicated board members, past and present, as well as the tremendous support of our incredible members, many of whom are here to celebrate with us. We look forward to continuing our important work, including at our upcoming conference in Washington, D.C. We hope to see you there in March. Thank you again for the opportunity to join Nasdaq and ring in the closing bell.